Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 7 of the NFL season. I'm Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talk's Sunday Stream of Consciousness. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Wild day of college football yesterday. A wild Friday night of Major League Baseball. We'll get into all of that. Want to welcome all the people watching us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. All the people that watch us on the groups that allow us to share later on. Our favorites, some of our favorites you see scrolling at the bottom. I can only get so many in there, but we have many, many favorites. But not the least of which is John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities. Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, The Love of Baseball. Let's Talk Sports. Bottom Line Sports. Flo and Can are going to start doing their thing again pretty soon, as Flo will be returning to the States very soon. Who else? Ken Krause at Golf Bud, Sports of All Sorts. Many, many, many others, guys. Dozens and dozens and dozens of sites. Depending on the topic, if I share it to your group, there will be content that is relevant to you, I promise you. So if you're a specific team and I've shared it to your group, there's been some discussion about your team during this show. So welcome, everybody. Just got through with the big football show. Which you can watch the rest of later on my I believe you can watch the rest of it, even though I have to stop the share. I think you can watch the rest of it on TGI Sports Talk. What a day in college football. We're going to talk about the day in college football. 4 top 10 teams lose. 9 of the top 25 lose. I swear to God, we've had 40 different teams in the top 25. Ohio State and Indiana and Alabama show that they might be the best 4 teams in the country. And A&M, they squeak out a game at Arkansas. Miami comes up soft, against Louisville. Vandy with a big win. First time they're a favorite against a top 10 team in forever, but LSU finds a way to go in there and lose. Texas wins, but by the skin of their teeth at Arkansas. At Kentucky. A&M won it to Arkansas. South Florida is probably the group of 5 front runner now. Memphis loses to UAB yesterday. Kudos to Alex Mortensen, the son of Chris Mortensen, the great Chris Mortensen from the late great Chris Mortensen from ESPN. Kudos to him. Army and Air Force both win. Navy has a bye. Syracuse gets railed. Kudos to Coach Franklin, who got fired this past week, as we know, after this show was over on Sunday last week after losing his back-to-back 20-point favorites. Came on ESPN and was a class act yesterday. But there's a lot more to talk about, too. Baseball. Dodgers back in the World Series. Whether you love them or hate them because, they're ruining baseball. Dave Roberts said, people think we're ruining baseball. And he said, let's get 4 more wins and really ruin baseball. Do I think they're ruining baseball? No. Go out and spend money. We talked about this on the MLB update Friday. I get it. I think they do things that might circumvent the cap or whatever. Figure it out. Make your team better. And Ohtani gives one of the best performances, maybe the best postseason performance of all time. I've seen in my lifetime, it's pretty close. Don Larson wasn't in my lifetime. But in my lifetime, single game performances, there's Larson, not in my lifetime. Reggie, Roy Halladay. I thought I mentioned somebody else yesterday too, but it's a single moment. Kirk Gibson. What Ohtani did Friday night, 3 home runs, not just 3 home runs, 3 tape measure shots. And pitches 6 shutout innings and 10 strikeouts, just unbelievable. You know how I feel about Aaron Judge. I've never seen a player like Ohtani in my entire life, and I'm never going to again, probably. And the Dodgers are back in the World Series. The Mariners try to get to their first tonight. They'll throw Gilbert against Savage tonight. I like the Mariners to wrap it up tonight. I like Gilbert a lot. I think he's operating on full rest this time, rather than his first start. And a home game has yet to win. A home team has yet to win yet in the series. Am I wrong? Mariners won one game, right? So they're going back to Toronto where they won the first 2 games. Interestingly, the Giants doing something unconventional. It looked like they're going to hire Ryan Vitello from Tennessee, the Tennessee head coach. This doesn't happen in baseball. It happens in football, basketball all the time. I can't think of a different another example. Pat Murphy, yes, coached a long time at Notre Dame and someplace else, but he's had a decade as a major league bench coach and a coach in general. I remember Bobby Winkles from Arizona State coming to coach the Angels, but I think later on he coached managed the Angels and managed the A's. But I think he had some coaching experience. I'm not sure. Bobby Winkles, if not, would be the only example I can think of where a college coach came directly to the major leagues and managed. So that's interesting. I find the Albert Pujols situation interesting as well. I think Pujols is probably out of the race with the Angels. They made a big deal, a big media splash about the fact they were doing an interview. And a day or two after that, they said, we're expanding our search. That's not a good sign for Albert Pujols. I think he won't get that job. I did hear the Orioles are interested in Pujols. So, and in football, we got the Rams going to London to play Jacksonville. Jacksonville's playing in London, I would say, more than any other NFL team. In fact, Khan talked about moving that team to London several times since he's owned the team. That will never happen. Listen, I don't like the Rams. How are you traveling to play a game in London 5 hours away on Saturday? Very weird. Rodgers' celebration tizzy the other night was interesting. He had a great game. Rodgers and Flacco just matched up with a great game for 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks. Whether you like them or not, they both played well. But again, you shouldn't be tackling your 41-year-old quarterback after a touchdown, and I guess he made it pretty clear to that lineman, don't effing touch me. Pats will play for Vrabel today? Yes. Vrabel going back to Tennessee. A lot of these situations, and I'll get your good mornings in quickly in a second. Vrabel going back to the team that fired him. Sorry, he got fired. And usually I would say, well, he's not playing. But this is a case where this is a team that has bought into Mike Vrabel and Mike Vrabel's approach. If you watch practice video, if you watch after the game, the way he interacts with the players coming off the field, in the tunnel, greets everybody in the locker room. This team will, I'm certain, to a man, they'll run through a wall for this guy, including Stephon Diggs, who is questionable today. So that's an interesting story today. And maybe we can look at, some conversations. Our teams are they back? Chiefs, for instance, are they back? I think so. Who's for real? Teams like the Pats and the Colts, the Jags, are they for real? And are teams in trouble like the Eagles, the Redskins, the Bills, the 49ers? But it's your show, guys. I just give you a little bit of, I got a cat licking my leg on live TV. Good morning, JB. How are you, my friend? Again, Albert Pujols mentioned, we talked about some managerial opportunities. I didn't think the Orioles would go with a first-time manager. I thought they needed an experienced guy. This guy, like Buck. But looks like Pujols will at least get a interview there. Good morning, CA. Blessed Sunday to you. Paul Spada. Good morning. Congratulations, Oregon, with a big win against a horrible Rutgers team yesterday. I still don't know how good Oregon is. I still don't know how good most of these teams are. I know Indiana's good. I know OSU is good. I'm not really sure about anybody else. I think A&M's good. They'll be number 3 most likely today. No, they might be 2 today. And don't go screaming when Oregon isn't number 2. They'll probably be, I don't know, what would they be? That was for you, Paul. Indiana's going to be 2. Sorry. A&M will be 3. Bama will be 4. Oregon will probably be 5. Georgia 6. Georgia Tech is going to move into the top 10. Notre Dame will probably be back in the top 10 this week with a nice win over USC yesterday. Good stuff. Good morning, Michaels. Dighton Edwards, good stuff. Check out Michael's last article. You're certainly more than welcome for the show. I thank you guys for just showing up. Danny Fuller, our boy from that far off country of California. And on to another show, right? It gets hard, and I apologize to you guys that I have to cut off of the big football show, but I've got to get it cut off a few minutes before I try to start this show, or we won't go live. Facebook is really tough that way. Tough watching my once storied teams like Dolphins, Orioles, USC become a joke. I wouldn't say USC's a joke. USC's much, much better this year. I wouldn't put them in the class with the Dolphins for sure, and I think the Orioles will probably bounce back next year. But USC's played good football this year. Lincoln Riley, this is the best they played since Lincoln Riley's first year there, where they nearly made the Pac-12 championship game, losing a tough one in Utah, which was a really good team at the time, in a really tough place to play. The defense is better. Didn't play as great last night. This was a really good football game for at least 3 quarters and into the fourth quarter. Had some bad play, maybe some bad play calling. As well, but USC's improved. Congrats on the Ducks bouncing back huge. Great day of college football yesterday. I tell you, it's just every week there's nothing for sure. I did go 2 for 3 yesterday. I had BYU. How did I bet yesterday? Oh, I bet my Miami and Louisville over Friday night. But yesterday I had Vanderbilt yesterday and BYU yesterday. Love Friday show between with Jack and the baseball show. This discussion about parity and about how teams spending money win. Listen. Yeah, maybe there needs to be I don't know if we need a cap. Why isn't a luxury tax enough? And why aren't you forcing teams to spend money? You want parity. You know, Brian, and I think Brian was using it wrong. I think Brian was using the word parity in a context that, maybe he didn't mean to use it in. I don't want to watch a bunch of, in football, for instance, we want to see a bunch of 9-8 teams and then figure out tiebreakers and all that nonsense. No, I like to see really good teams. And I'll use football for an example and baseball too. You want to beat the Dodgers? Then you got to beat them at their own game. Just because you own the Colorado Rockies or the Royals does not mean you can't take money out of your own pocket to win. That's the difference today, right? These owners are here to make billions of dollars. Back in the 60s and prior, 70s, even prior, started in the 70s. These guys owned teams for hobbies. They spent money on players or didn't. But they didn't necessarily have to be in the biggest markets to win. Maybe they did. No, Cincinnati won a bunch of World Series in the 60s and the 70s. One in the 60s. Baltimore. Hello. Ohtani literally just put down the greatest thing display ever in the historic awesomeness ever. Nobody could ever possibly top that performance, and if they do, they'll be the GOAT. I love Judge, but you can't do that. I agree. I said this yesterday in our chat, right? I kneel at the feet of Ohtani. That is the single greatest thing I've ever seen. I was there for Reggie's 3 homers. I wasn't there for Don Larson. I did see Roy Halladay pitch that no-hitter in the playoffs. Great moments. Some individual great moments. And it's harder to compare individual great moments, right? To me, Kirk Gibson is still, in my lifetime, the greatest individual moment. And I'm a Yankee fan who lived through Bucky Dent. Kirk Gibson's the most the single moment that stands out most to me since I've been watching baseball. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. If I was Pujols, I wouldn't want this job. Michael's right about it being toxic. Why would you want the job? Neither one of them is going to spend. Artie Moreno ought to be forced to sell that team. Chris says, Tony, I did mention this as at the top, and Tony Vitello would be the first guy. One, and I do think it was Bobby Winkles did it. I'm not sure. I couldn't get the information on it last night. I was trying to find if he had previous experience before he went to, I believe, California, then Oakland. Maybe it was the other way around. But he left Arizona State where he'd had a dynasty. Bobby Winkles coached guys like Reggie and Sal Bando. Great players at Arizona State. But I don't remember a guy other than that, potentially him, ever going directly from college to the pros. And yeah, I can smell the analytics as well because we'll see. Yankees with coaching changes. By the way, they didn't fire their hitting coach. They fired the third hitting coach. The Yankees. Oh, Chris, I know you weren't. Yeah, listen, I'm not killing the messenger, I promise. But I went through this on the MLB update on Friday. Cosmetic changes. He fired a bullpen coach. He fired a first base coach and a third hitting coach. Brilliant. That'll make a lot of difference. But this team, how do you sit there? How do you sit there in your yearly, we're going to do better. We're going to try harder. Well, why should anybody be confident? This is a question to Aaron Boone. Why should anybody be confident that this organization, as it constituted from Hal Steinbrenner down to Aaron Boone, can get this team over the top? And he says, I don't know. I don't know. Make something up. I don't know. Ugh. It's not a new hitting coach. Unless I missed something, the main hitting coach is not going anywhere. And they've had hitting coach after hitting coach, Chris, and it's been boom or bust since the day Aaron Boone got there, maybe before. That philosophy starts at the top because the hitting coach is only going to do what the front office tells him to do. The hitting coaches in the minor leagues are teaching them launch angles and exit velocity. They've got MIT freaking engineers coming in there to teach guys how to swing. Love the cat. Oh, she's the best. You know, I had 3 cats. I was always a dog person until I was 40. I had the same dog. Well, I had a dog forever when I was a little kid, right till I was 40. But my last dog, 19 years. He's here. He's right here. He sits right here. Well, I have his ashes behind me. That's my brute. 19 years. We went through a lot together. You know, from 21 to 40, you go through a lot of stuff. And he was the one constant in my life, man. And he was the best. I couldn't replace him. So I got cats several years later. I ended up with 3 through various circumstances, all rescues. And the oldest one passed away, I guess, 3 years ago at 22. The middle one passed away I guess it was 4 years ago for Miss Buzzy. Lucas passed away, I guess, 3 years ago, almost. Around Christmas, it'll be 3 years. He was 16. And the one I have left, little Lacey, is 17. Doing well. She gets to go to the spa for 2.5 weeks here in a couple of weeks as we go away. Back to sports. But I digress. USC proved itself very well the last couple of weeks. No disgrace losing to Notre Dame, none at all. The other loss they had, I think, was to a pretty good Illinois team on the road. They're bigger. They're better in the trenches than they were last year. They were not prepared to play in the Big Ten. I've said this a million times. them, UCLA, not prepared. Oregon and Washington, more prepared. But I think Lincoln Riley's taken himself off the hot seat, if there was one, and they've improved that defense tremendously. Brian Wu's sinker that hit George Springer was a total accident. However, we will see a maybe. You don't retaliate for accidents. And in that situation, I don't think there's any way he was trying to hit him. And by the way, I'm all for policing and taking, policing the games yourselves. I don't think they'll hit somebody tonight, not on purpose, but we'll see. Always makes for interest. We don't see enough. I'm sorry. We don't see enough guys get hit today. And we see too many guys when they get hit take exception to it because they aren't used to being pitched inside. Right? So everybody that gets hit takes exception to it. And hitters don't hit. I'm sorry, pitchers don't hit. Hello, Steve Stoolmaker. How are you, my friend? Looking good and relaxed. I feel great. Thank you. We'll be coming up on a 2-month mark pretty soon of retirement. I've managed to lose 18 pounds since I retired. Still a bunch that I want to go. So I'm starting to see it a little on my face when I look at the camera. The camera does add weight. I can guarantee you. But not to toot my own horn, I'm very happy with the progress we've been making. And today's my day to drink beer. Gibson was the most iconic single moment. Agreed. Joe Carter. That's a good one. Joe Carter's second. I don't know. Just because that series wasn't like a high profile series, you have to put all of them up. Carter's ended a World Series, so that was important. Gibson's only, personally, I think Gibson had won at bat in that series. I think he was the MVP of that series. Just me. Gibson, Mazeroski, end World Series with walk-off home runs. Those terms weren't used then, but very exciting moments for sure. I have no idea. No idea. Why do you even have 3 hitting coaches, right? I mean, at one point, I think we had like a first base coach, a pitching coach, and a manager coach third base. 100 years ago. 50 years ago. Well, not 50, 60 years ago. It is a joke. I mean, again, this is what you do. This is how you approach making your team better. And I'm not going to get on Aaron Boone as I did a few years back when he saved his job by letting his top lieutenants get fired, including his best friend in baseball. This is a little different. He's not hiring the coaches anymore. Michael's worried about Vitello. ESPN reporting that he is the first to go from college to the pro. Yeah, they are reporting that. I got to do some more research on Bobby Winkles because I still think Bobby Winkles might be that guy. Some of you old guys might be able to help me out here, but I think he was. And Posey's going to think outside the box. I think he's making that clear. Well, I mean, he has. Again, he's run an entire NCAA program. That's not the same as Major League Baseball. But again, you got to remember something. And I'm not saying it's right or good, Michael. The problem is the manager's only got to do one thing. That's execute the script that's given you. You've helped put it together before the game. Well, how many decisions do you think managers are making now? Hardly any. Most of them. Again, kudos to Dave Roberts for managing what he's seeing in front of him. The eye test, Danny called it Friday. Kudos to him in letting Yamamoto throw a complete game and Snell throw 8 innings, which is like unheard of for him. That's what you need. But managers aren't doing that. So I don't know that not having a pedigree. And listen, running a college baseball program is certainly not a small effort, right? Hall of Fame player, yes, no doubt, but legit in the front office general manager, I don't know either. I mean, it's too early to tell about Buster Posey. What's he been on the job? A little over a year, maybe? Maybe. And again, Time and I have a complicated relationship. But we'll see. Ex-players don't. Again, there was a time ex-players weren't great managers, right? Now a lot of ex-players are running organizations. Jeter did a decent job in Miami, but they weren't going to win anything there. I would think the expectations are higher for Posey in San Francisco. And certainly a Hall of Fame player. My only grudge I have with Posey is that we had to change a whole rule just because Buster Posey got hurt at home plate. I hate, as you might probably figure, the rules about being able to run a guy over at home plate. Good morning, Scott Kobe. How are you, my friend? By the way, I don't know how to fix these problems. Which problems? There's so many of them. Which problems are we fixing, my friend? Yeah, no, I know it was before Boone. But it's really been exacerbated under Boone. Girardi at least held guys accountable because there's more issues. Boom or bust was there before Aaron Boone. Even the 2009 team, that team could manufacture runs a little bit because you had guys like Jeter in that lineup, and guys who could put the ball in play in situational, in regards to situational baseball, right? But at least Girardi held guys accountable. You guys are hot today with the questions and the comments. Aaron Boone needs to go. Cashman needs to go. Thank you. I don't disagree. Yankees are already behind the 8 ball next year. They're going to start the season without Cole, without Rendon, who's not my favorite, if you've watched the show over the years, but he is there for at least 2 more years. And without Volpe, who, for lack of a better option, they are committed to as their shortstop. I don't know how much this torn labrum hurt his defense. It was in his non-throwing arm, but I'm sure it still affects your throwing motion and whatnot. But, they're starting out in April missing all 3 of those guys, probably for most of that month. Things could change, I suppose, but they're not going to take a chance with Cole and bring him back too soon. Not when you got 20 wild cards. Good morning, Dave Guyette. Ugly performance by your Syracuse Orangemen yesterday, getting beat at home by about, 20-something to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's better than you think. 19 years beyond blessed. You're fortunate to have the time. I agree, 100%. And it's a time frame, too. Those years when you're the human. Oh, and I got to tell you, there's a new song. I'll tell a quick story about my boy Brutus. So, again, I had him from 21 to 40. There's a person here who's reached that age, which you all have, that doesn't understand how many life-altering things happened to you in that type of 19-year span. A lot. Jobs, women, kids in a lot of people's cases. So a lot happens. And on the 1-year anniversary, I had to put him down. I watched Marley and Me. I didn't know what the movie was about. I liked Owen Wilson. I think Jennifer Aniston was in the movie. And it was about a dog. So I'm a good, happy movie. I didn't know how it was going to end. So movies that make me cry are almost always about dogs. Marley and Me, A Dog's Life. I cried like a baby during A Dog's Life many times. I cried during Chris Stapleton's song about his dog, and can't remember the name of the song now, but having to put his dog down. And there's a new one by Hardy called Dog Years. Oh my God, I'm riding home. First time I heard it the other day. I was out coming back from, I don't know where I was coming back from, haircut or something. And God, I'm crying my eyes out when I came in the house. My wife was scared about what happened. I'm such a big softie when it comes to the animals. Scott Kobe says, do you think Vrabel wants to win today by 40 or just get a win? How far am I falling behind already, by the way? That's not too bad. 9 minutes. That's good for me. Yeah, I think he'd like to win by 40. He'd be fine. I think getting out of there with a win will be fine. I think, too, and I often say this, we talked about it on the Big Football Show this morning, often coaches going back for revenge. If the players aren't vested in that, the coaches don't play, so I don't think it has a lot of effect, except in a case like this, when the players have bought in so much to a new coach like Vrabel, and you've got 53 guys that will run through a wall for this guy. Yes, 53, even Stephon Diggs will run through a wall for this guy. I think they want to maybe beat this team up. I think Drake May throws 4 touchdown passes today. Maybe he throws 5 touchdown passes today. I think the Patriots put up 40 today. Now, I'm sure they'll give up some points. So. Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale, those are the guys I was thinking of, right? The inside of, well, you're talking about controlling a game in a series. I agree 100%. And they did that by pitching inside. Because there was a time where that was the outside part of the plate was mine. And if you start reaching out there, Gibson's going to dust you. Drysdale's going to dust you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I like to see guys get hurt. Don't get me wrong. These guys had good enough control that they could put it under somebody's chin. Just saw it. I had a highlight come up from the 80 World Series where Dickie Knowles, I think it was Dickie Knowles, just flattens George Brett by doing the same thing. Brett would dive into the plate in those years, and he just flattened him. Jim Fry was trying to go after Dickie Knowles. In 2004, the Binghamton Senators, over 71 games, Brian McGrattan scored 7 points and 551 penalty minutes. Hockey season has begun, and Chris Fgrave is here with the information I had requested him to share. I will enjoy the trip. Thank you, Steve. I hope you're doing well. I hear several things. I got to chat with you this week. Give me a ring on my cell phone this week. I haven't chatted with a lot of people. I've chatted with Kathleen and Kim a little bit, but Liz made a comment. I don't know. Give me a buzz. We'll chat this week. 18 pounds. Got to move, man. Thank you, Michael. We're getting there. Really feel it in the, I used to have like a little shelf here I could rest a beer on, basically. And that's gone. I feel it in my face and whatnot. It's all about, and I use Noom. I did it in right after COVID. We first went home for COVID and we weren't going out for dinner a lot. My wife was baking every day and both of us put on too much weight. And we did Noom. And Noom, now you're going to have to pay for commercial time on this show. But it's all about, learning why you eat the way you eat. And, I did really well on it the first time. I think I lost 30 pounds. I'd like to lose more than that this time, but we'll see. But I got to stick to it. And like every other, it's me. People blame diets, right, in general, but it's me. I know why I'm doing what I do. And when I don't, I'm getting smart now. I figure out, I know what I'm going to eat today. I know what I'm not a breakfast guy. Some fruit and some coffee and I'm done. Unless we're away and then I eat breakfast. But I know what I'm going to have for lunch today. I know I'm going to have a few beers. So I put them in my my tracker in the morning. I know my wife's cooking for dinner. Most days. Some days are different, and it keeps me on track. And I don't sit there looking. She's not bringing in a lot of junk food. Where I'm a guy in the middle of the night when I'm watching a ball game. My wife goes to bed. I'm looking to just eat a bag of Doritos, a whole bag of cheese and crackers. Not doing it. The Bulldog was the '88 MVP. He was. He should have been the MVP of the World Series. What I was saying, though, Danny. I'm not saying should he. Obviously, you're not going to give it to a guy with one at bat. To me, as an outsider, again, no rooting interest other than as a huge baseball fan. Kirk Gibson set the momentum for that series. Didn't the Dodgers sweep? Kirk Gibson was the MVP of that '88 World Series, in this one man's opinion. Keith, this is really MLB Major League movie with the Yankees. No, there's a big difference, Scott. They won. At least by the second movie, they won a World Series. So if it was actually the movie, I love the comparison, by the way. If it was actually the movie, last year would have been movie number one, and this year we would have won a World Series. Great movie, by the way. Major League, top 10. Top 10. We've talked about this for a while. My top 10 Major League Baseball movies, in no order. Major League, just we were just talking about it. Field of Dreams, The Natural, Bull Durham, A League of Their Own. The one with Billy Chappell. He plays a pitch. Oh God, what was the name of that game? I can see it. I do this every time with that movie. That'd be 6. Major League 2, I think, is one of those movies. The Iron Horse. What else is I? Oh, Sandlot, obviously, the Sandlot. And I like Little Big League as well. I don't know if I got to 10 there or not. So I'm sure you guys can throw others at me. We've done this before. Michael wants to send his resume to the Yankees to be the 5th quality control catching coach. If that wasn't close to being the truth, I'd be laughing my ass off, Michael. You're as qualified as the guy's doing it, probably. And why do we have these? Did I just go backwards? Or happy birthday to 3-time Super Bowl champion Dave Dalby. 75 today. Happy birthday, Dave Dalby with the Raiders. Yeah, I'm going to say the Raiders. Best managers are making their own decisions, in my opinion. In my opinion as well, at least some of them. I'm okay. I understand, right? You do game plan, right? You have, pitchers and catchers get together and pitching coaches and go over their game plan to pitch into hitters and whatnot. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing that stuff. It's the script where, I can't let this guy throw more than 60 pitches. I don't care how easily he got the first 60. If you didn't work hard, not every 60, not every 90, not every 120 pitches are equal. If you're not pitching out of jams and you throw 120 pitches or 90 or 100, whatever number you want to put at there, whatever arbitrary number you want to say, oh, this guy's done. And the same way with relief pitchers, where you just pull them, no matter regardless of how they pitch. We pull him because that's not his job. His job was a 6th inning. I know he got out in 4 pitches, got out of the inning in 4 pitches, but that's not his job. His job is to just stay there and pitch the 6th inning. Let's get our 7th inning guy in there. Who's out here that I can see that's there not commenting? Hello. AC, haven't heard from you today. Hello. Suman, hello. Rajiv, Ginger, how are you? Kim, listen, Kim, you guys got a raw call yesterday. Again, Auburn to me gets screwed twice in 2 weeks. Last week they had a call, totally changed the momentum of the game. And again, I don't blame referees. Referees didn't cost Auburn the game. Hugh Freeze and the way he reacted and the way his team bought into the way he reacted cost them the game because I don't think they scored a point in the second half. But they should have been up 17-0 at halftime, and that changed the whole momentum of the game. Because that ball was that play was a touchdown. Yesterday, a similar play, and it's called a touchdown for Missouri, and he fumbled the ball into the end zone. I think he fumbled yesterday. Don't be afraid to comment, Kim, if you're still out there. Everyone put your cigar box money on the Rams today. Keith picked the Jags. You know, I was going to bet this today, and he didn't get the lines to us. There, he did it 9:34, so I can't even bet the game. There's half the first quarter's gone. Jesus. Shannon, are you out there, Shannon? You do a great job, buddy. I'm only kidding you. So now I got to find 3 other games. By the way, I don't know how the Rams and listen. There's a couple of reasons, right? Yes, Nayuk is out. They're driving for a touchdown, by the way. So maybe I'm totally wrong. Traveling yesterday, I think, is a huge mistake. When you're traveling to London, you don't come in the day before. It's not like you're flying from LA to San Francisco. Oh, forgot one here. I'll certainly pick the Giants. I'm under for Vegas win if they hire Vitello. And I love Ray and that coaching staff. Just saying. Ray? I don't know why I'm blanking on Ray and the coaching staff, Michael. Help me out. Pete Rose agrees with you, Keith, right? Oh, Ray Fosse doesn't. Ray Fosse doesn't. Buster Posey wouldn't. That's the Buster Posey rule, though, right? I mean, we talk about Brady rules in football when hitting quarterbacks low. This is a Posey rule in baseball. That's when they put in the rule about having to slide, can't block the plate without the ball. We only played that way for 100 years before that, right? Machine Gun Kelly to play the halftime show of the CFL. I don't even know who that is. He's a rapper, I think, isn't he? He's not related, or hopefully he's not related to Art Kelly. Can't we get like... I know I'm preaching to the choir in this group, I think. But I don't even know who or what a Bad Bunny is. Is that his name, by the way? When I saw it, I just got through watching a show called Black Rabbit, and I thought it was that. I thought Jude Law and Jason Bateman were doing the halftime show. By the way, great show. 8 episodes. Check it out. Netflix. I thought they were doing a halftime show at the Super Bowl, but I found out, no, it's Bad Bunny. Now, it's a time where I'm going to know who the halftime performer is. Is it totally passed by now? I do know who. I have heard of Machine Gun Kelly, and he's not related to Art Kelly. That's a bad joke. Hitting coach problem with the Yankees, so they will hire just three stooges. That's hitting. I think they're already there. We don't need hitting coaches. Not when the front office is dictating how to approach games, man. All you need, guys, is to, here you go, guys. This is how I want you to do this. We need engineers to show them the launch angle they should be using. And we're literally doing this in the lower minor leagues. So they're preparing guys to get to the major leagues and actually approach games this way, regardless of the situation. I mean, as a Yankee fan, nothing infuriates me more than I watch I'm going to use Volpe as an example. He gets up there, second and third, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and there might as well be nobody on and no strikes, and he's swinging for the fences. He swings exactly the same way every single time. There is no change to his approach, no matter the situation we're talking about. That's what hitting coaches are supposed to teach. That's what coaches in general are supposed to teach. But it's not ingrained, and you have to ingrain that type of thing from the time they hit your organization. They should be learning this stuff in Little League. And listen, I haven't been to a Little League game or an American Legion game or Babe Ruth game in years. But I know I played the game on those levels. And it's not how they play the game today. And the games were taught different. And I'll bet you anything, a lot of these coaches at the earliest levels of baseball, when kids are good, not necessarily Little League, are teaching the game the same way. Because they grew up with the Sports Center syndrome that just permeates sports today. Danny says, London, terrible field conditions to start. Now it's raining. See, I thought they played these games in Wembley, and I think Michael Gott straightened me out that they don't play there. I don't know where they play, but listen, we saw it in Georgia Tech and Kansas State to start the college season. They played at an atrocious field in Ireland. I think it rained that day too. You can't sit if they're not going to give you optimal field conditions. You can't be putting players at risk. I think we saw that a few years ago in Mexico City. Why are we doing that? You're never really going to expand into what they do. They scored a touchdown. Who scored the touchdown? I need Kyrie Williams, who I think McVay's got in the doghouse a little bit. You guys still got a lot of comments ahead of me. Oh, sorry, Michael. Crying over pets, nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed, by the way. I do it unabashedly. If people were as beautiful, wonderful, and honest as pets, the world would be a significantly better place, period. I agree 100%. I've cried more over animals than I have any people. I cried for my mother, don't get me wrong, but still. Excellent point, Michael, and words people should live by. Everybody should treat everybody like your pet treats you. They don't want anything except a pat on the head, a cuddle, food, clean your litter box out if they're a cat. Don't need much. Sack on Lawrence, first play of the game. Well, we talked about that in the big football show, right? Tiger news. Oh, Tiger Woods news. I thought it was Tigers. Woods could completely run out of ranking points and disappear from the ladder by the Masters in April. That would be sad day for golf fans. Well, the points won't matter. He can play in the Masters forever. That's one place that you do not lose your lifetime exemption unless they change the rules that I'm not aware of. But Masters champions are eligible for the Masters forever. Unlike the U.S. Open, you have an exemption for X amount of years, and then you have to qualify based on whatever criteria might be existing at the time. But the Masters, no, I think he can play forever if he decides to. Most guys, Arnold Palmer played until he was like 80. Probably not. Drysdale Motto hit one of mine. I hit 2 of yours. 100%. I love Don Drysdale. Loved him. Absolutely loved him. But nobody pitches like that today. I think Hershiser Danny, was a perfect guy to break Drysdale's scoreless inning streak. I mean, Bulldog was a huge. Oh, that's what you were saying before. Bulldog was the MVP of the 80. I missed that, Danny. My bad. It just struck me what you were talking about. I know that Hershiser got that MVP, and deservedly so. I'm not saying he shouldn't get it. For me, the Dodgers don't win that World Series without that one at bat from Kirk Gibson. Do you agree with that? I'm curious if you agree with that, because we've talked about momentum ad nauseum, right? With Jack Hirsch, who doesn't think it's a real thing, but it is. And I think momentum, 100%. I think Tim Belcher started that game 1, right? And then Hershiser pitched game 2. I think they swept that series. But I think without Kirk Gibson's home run there, I think momentum is 100% the other way. And I got to tell you, absolutely no offense to this team because they won the World Series, because they were a team and everybody seemed to contribute. Talent-wise, I feel like that, and that's why Tommy Lasorda is very underrated as a manager because of his persona. But that's the least talented team ever to win a World Series in my lifetime. And again, I don't mean that as a knock. I was rooting for them. Everyone go back and watch the Red Sox-Yankee games from 75 to 78 if you want to talk about every pitch meaning something. Wow, I would agree with that 100%. I think you could talk about Giants and Dodgers in certain eras as well, similarly. But watching these games up close, because you saw every one of them, as a Yankee or a Red Sox fan, oh my God, it was like it was life and death, and you just never knew when somebody was going to get punched in the face or get their arm broken like Bill Lee. Love hockey, go Goons. Chris will give you the hockey stuff for sure. Hello, AC, there he is. Got to stay on track. If only I could stay on track, I would be a millionaire. Me too. Welcome to Boomtown, David and David. I'm losing. Everyone should watch Mystery Alaska. Best, I have seen that movie. Is that who started that movie? Isn't it Gladiator? Who's the guy? I'm so bad. My memory's so bad. I worry about my memory. I talk about this like when I'm doing Jeopardy. We're playing Jeopardy. We watch Jeopardy every night. And I can't come up with an answer, but then I hear it and I know the answer. So it's not like I've forgotten. It's not like I go, oh my God, that isn't the guy. And I forget totally that person started a movie or this thing happened in history and it was this guy. I can't recall. I think that's different than like losing your total memory, isn't it? In the meantime, I can't come up with the name. One of my favorite actors. The guy was in all his movies. Love that line. But Mystery Alaska was a fun movie. I liked it a lot. Good one, AC. Growing up in Detroit, watching Gibson play football at Michigan State, play for the Tigers, and then give the world the most iconic sports moment ever. He is literally a joy and a blessing to sports fans. If you can't get behind that, and you don't have a soul when it comes to sports, if I grew up under a rock in Montana, I would still respect Kirk Gibson. Absolutely 100%. Tough as nails. And we talk a lot about that Dodger home run, right? But he also hit a huge home run off Goose Gossage in the 84 World Series against Padres and put them out of their misery because Goose refused to walk him. Stupid. Dick Williams wanted to walk him, and Goose said, I ain't doing it. Remember the Titans movie might be the best Remember the Titans might be the best sports movie from any sport. Great movie, 100% great movie. Charlie Sheen was considered for Bull Durham. He'd already committed to Major League. He made the right choice, by the way. I think both of them, both movies got it right with the leads in these movies. He was better fit to be Wild Thing than he was to be, Bull Durham. Or Ray. What was the guy's name? What was the character's name in that? Well, I'm sorry. Was he considered to be Nuke LaLoosh or the catcher? Crash Davis. I'm assuming he was going to be Nuke LaLoosh or whatever his name is, something like that. Keith and everyone, I hope you bet on Jose. I didn't. I should have. That was the easiest bet of the week. Oh, Robbie Ray. Okay, good. Oh, Robbie Ray and the pitching staff. I got you. Robbie Ray's underrated pitcher. He won a Cy Young a couple years ago. He had some good years in Seattle. I like Robbie Ray. Has had some injury issues. Who had Mumfield, I'll say, on their fantasy team, first TD scorer for the Rams? I did not. Well, Sonia pulled our plug. Did she pull your plug? She cut your show off early, is she? What time was this comment? Oh, I'm getting caught up. It's only 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago. Bad Bunny, the whole thing needs to just disappear. If you don't want to watch him, go to the... Oh, I will, by the way. Grab some wings or watch the Puppy Bowl. So don't watch if you don't want to. Oh, don't worry, I won't. You don't have to worry about that. I'd love to have something I can watch, though. Why can't I get Luke Combs or Blake Shelton or a group of those guys? Or, whatever. I mean, look, again, you can have who you want because, again, the audience they want to attract is not me. It's not you, Michael. I know what I wasn't born under a rock, right? I know what the deal is here. That's for the viewer that they want to sell stuff to at a younger. They don't have any money, by the way. The people who want, and I'm sorry, that's rude. I know they have some money, but nobody ever caters to the people like us who have all the money and the time to spend it. I don't know. And it's similar to social media, right? Just scroll past it. I can do that. But whatever. I'll turn on, the highway and I'll be happy for 35 minutes. And the Super Bowl has become unwatchable. The commercial breaks take too long. Halftime takes too long. It isn't about the game anymore. The AFC, NFC championship games are better. I don't necessarily disagree. I will be watching the Super Bowl this year. I'm not going to say something that I know is not true. Now that I'm not saying you don't intend to do that, but well, I would not watch the game because of Bad Bunny. It's become a joke, and God forbid the refs get flag happy. Sorry for the Super Bowl. It's become the worst game of the year to watch. I'm not going to generalize, right? Because I've seen a lot of great Super Bowls. Now, when my team's there, now if your team is there, you're not going to tell me you're not watching the Super Bowl, AC. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy that. If it's two other teams that I can see you're going to skip it, that's fine. And that's within you certainly, that's why this is a great country. This is your right to do that. But I have seen some exciting Super Bowls. I have to tell you, I've seen two of the best Super Bowls, and it's because my teams were there most likely, right? Was 2002, the 2001 season when the Patriots won their first Super Bowl. And 2017 when the Patriots come back from 28-3. I guarantee you most people clicked off the TV. That was a great game. So again, I get your points. The commercials are too long. The games go too long because of commercials and long halftime, and it should start at 4:00 like it used to. Actually, when I was a kid, it started at 2:00. Now that I'm retired, I guess I don't give a crap as much. Mumpfield. I can't even say his name. Good morning, Matt. Our Yankee and Charger fan out in Orange County, California. Michael says he could have played shortstop for the Yankees in my 20s. If all I could do is field a position, swing for my heels. Yeah, I mean, that's, no, it's not what I want. I want to watch guys play baseball. What I see very little of when I watch 9 innings is baseball. I watch home run derbies. I watch them play like all-star games and, 14 pitchers pitching a game. I miss the days of Belanger, Patek, Ozzy. Play the game, do your job. Stop trying to be a hero. Who are you getting paid? Who are you getting paid life-altering millions when others are making minimum wage to just exist? Field a ground ball and throw. I agree, Michael. 7-0 Rams. Probably a little behind here. Back to 12 minutes behind. One of my favorite baseball quotes, Sparky Anderson speaking to Sammy Sosa. You couldn't hit a breaking ball with a guitar. I had coaches like that. Pets are great, but I guarantee your pet would eat you alive if it could. Don't get me wrong. I love pets, but pets don't love us back. They're domesticated. Well, you're not going to get me to agree with that. Although it is actually again, I don't know where you get your data from. I have actually read articles, and again, articles are what they are, right? Because somebody's got an agenda, whoever writes an article, that you could die. And listen, your cat will eat you. If I died and the cat had no food, the cat would eat me. The cat's not just going to eat me because I'm just sitting there, lying there, letting it eat me. They're domesticated, and they become domesticated over years. Your dog wouldn't eat you. In fact, the studies say the dog wouldn't even eat you after you were dead. Cats would. But I'm not buying the overall take here, AC. I'm just not buying. They love you unconditionally for no reason other than you exist. And if you don't see that back in your animal, then you love pets. That's great, but you're not seeing them and enjoying them the same way I am, because they do love you for no other reason than you're there. My cat has always shown me unconditional love. I guess it's conditional on the fact that I emptied a litter box. But I've done some great studies on especially cats, because I've had cats now nearly as long as I had dogs. But I know what their actions mean. They don't bring you a gift of a ball, sometimes a mouse over the years. Dead things from outside. I don't let my cats go out. Early on in my younger life, cats went outside. But the cats I've just referred to, they don't go outside. They're 100% inside. Too many bad things happen outside for animals. And probably why they've lived to be 22 years old, some of them. Hello, Paul Spada. Didn't we say hello to you earlier? Don Drysdale, beast. And if pitchers would model him, they would end up like T. Scooble. In your opinion? Yes, Scoble is a modern day Drysdale if managers would let him pitch and not manage pitch count. I agree. There's several guys like that. Dodgers staff and the Mariners staff are great examples. If I was teaching a kid, if I wanted a kid to follow somebody, mechanics, approach, Tom Seaver would be the guy. And that's not taking. I love Drysdale. I love Drysdale's approach. I love his mean streak. Tom Seaver. If I was teaching to get a pitch and I want to teach him mechanics and approach to the game, it'd be Tom Seaver. Welch was a good pitcher. Had a good couple of year run. Won 27 games when nobody was winning, 27 games anymore. Love Bob Welch's 78 World Series up and down as he strikes out Yankee. I think he was only like 20 years old at the time, right? And Reggie struck out against him, I want to say in game 3. No, maybe game 4. Oh, no, game 2. Game 2, because Nettles turned that series around in game 3. Yankees down 2-0. So I think it was game 2. He strikes out Reggie, men on base to end the game. But Reggie came back and got even with him with a big home run later in that series. And Bob Welch, too, overcame alcohol problems, I want to say, too, during his career to become a top flight major league pitcher for a period of time. Give him respect for what not only he did, but for his career. Listen, I haven't said anything disparaging about Bob Gibson, or I think we're talking about Kirk Gibson still. I'm just saying he hit 2 huge home runs in the World Series. Right? People tend to forget him a little bit, and they forget that home run in 84. He had a great series. He was the MVP of the league in 88. Had great talent. Injuries kept Kirk Gibson from being a Hall of Fame player. Kirk Gibson could do everything. He could field. He was a 5-tool player. Injuries slowly took that away, and he had a long career, but he was not nearly as productive the second half of his career. And it took him a few years to get going. Great player. He had a 5-year stretch. He was one of the best players in the game. Human love is a special thing that animals cannot obtain. Whatever. You can think what you want, AC. It's fine. Just by the words, no, they cannot obtain human love because they're not humans. It's a totally different kind of love. Believe me. Again, opinions are like, everybody's got one, including me. Oh, I definitely agree. The way Gibby hit in the bottom of the 8th was a crazy momentum factor. That Dodger team shouldn't have even beaten the Mets. So they probably shouldn't have won a game, right? They shouldn't have beat the Mets. They certainly shouldn't have beat the A's. The Mets and A's were the 2 best teams in baseball, talent-wise. But Kirk Gibson's homer, and again, I don't remember how much he played against the Mets. I don't think he played the last couple of games. I remember Socha's big home run. Speaking of big home runs against Doc Gooden in that NLCS, just some great moments in that postseason. You see, those you remember. Ohtani's we're going to remember forever. The problem is with World Series now and maybe it's just me getting older and there being so many other things going on in life, entertainment wise. You don't remember specific moments like Socha's home run, like Gibson's home run. Well, Gibson's home run will be remembered forever. Socha's gets forgotten. Sorry, hiccups. A lot of fun, though. A lot of big moments. Willie Mays, Mets and A's in 73, the throw that gets Harrelson at the plate or doesn't get Harrelson at the plate, and Willie Mays on his knees pleading. I remember. These things are so vivid in my memory. I can't tell you 5 big moments from the past 10 World Series. I can certainly tell you, and it wasn't a World Series, or let's just say postseason, right? Maybe it's just an age thing. I don't know. They're 1 and 5. That's fair. I guess it was the Reds that swept that. Listen, that A's team that everybody thought was a dynasty, and they were. They went to a bunch of World Series, but they only won 1. I guess it was the Reds that swept them in 90, right? Russell Crowe, thank you so much, Brian. I knew you'd get me there. Somebody would get me there. He was that guy who was in all those movies, and he did star in Mystery Alaska, correct? Welch left the Dodgers in '88. Yes, pitched with the A's. He did his best pitching with the A's, I would say. Russell Crowe in Mystery Alaska. Thank you, AC. I got to watch that movie again. That's a movie I haven't seen in decades. Russell Crowe. Everybody knows but me. 27-6 in 1990. Thank you, Paul. That's the season I was looking at. By the way, pitching for Tony La Russa, who started, this whole specialty pitcher thing, really. My favorite football movie is The Replacements. Great movie. Great movie, Brian. Falco. It's one of the few Keanu Reeves movies I like. I'm not a big Keanu Reeves fan, but The Replacements is a great movie. My wife and I will turn that on because she's a big fan of it too. It's a great movie. AC, I coached football at Marshall, the school that lost to T.C. Williams in the movie. That history is off the charts. I agree. I'm sure in that region of the country, it's probably resonates even more than it does in the rest of the country. And it's a great movie. 100%. By the way, speaking of Marshall, I think it's you're talking about a different Marshall, obviously. I'm talking about now the college. Oh, God, what was the name of the movie with Matthew McConaughey? The story of the Marshall football team plane crash. Was it Remember Marshall? Was Remember in that movie too? Here we go again. Sonia pushed the wrong button on the way out. I've been pushing the wrong buttons for 65 years, man. 14-0 Rams. What they do? Just turn the ball over besides? No, I guess I got a punt. Yeah. Oh, well. Good call, Danny. Marching up and down the field. I guess showing up on Saturday isn't such a bad thing. I do have the option not to watch it, and I won't. There have been some halftime shows I didn't watch. I'm there for the game, not the show. I agree 100%. I mean, I'd love to be able to watch a show. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of them, through the years. Most of the ones that would reflect my age. But I agree. I mean, it's there for a certain group of people. The people there to watch the halftime show mostly don't care about the game either, Brian, right? So I won't watch it. I'll turn on the highway and have some dinner, most likely. I'll be on a cruise. Will I be on a cruise? Yeah, I'm on a cruise. I think I've been on a cruise for the last, 8 Super Bowls, quite frankly. We'll be on one in 2 weeks for 12 days, and then we have a 2-weeker in February, and we're going to Alaska in July. Excited for that. I'm excited for Alaska. Yeah, I don't think that's going to probably happen, but I'm happy to accept all the campaign donations you want to send my way. Let's start a grassroots campaign. Devontae Williams scores for the Rams. Nice. Packer Broncos was my favorite Super Bowl. That was a great Super Bowl, actually. You're talking about Elway's first win. That's a good one. I guess leading up to that Super Bowl 10, Pittsburgh and Dallas. I can't remember if it was their first or their second. I think it was their first matchup. Lynn Swan made all those great catches, and Jackie Smith, who had to be the sickest man in America, as Vern Lundquist said, dropped the ball in the end zone. Great game. What kind of man calls himself Bunny? Chargers, the bannerless. Chargers, the bannerless still. Well, there's quite a few of those, isn't there? I admire the Charger fans, no doubt. They belong in San Diego, though, quite frankly. I don't understand, how San Diego lets that team walk away. I still consider them a San Diego team. It's still hard for me to say LA Chargers. Pets definitely love us back, no doubt. Pets have an instinct of love, no doubt. I agree. We can disagree with AC. That's fine. Articles on TGI or Sports Talks are indeed legit and worth the read and share. Oh, absolutely. Check out Michael's latest on. Now the topic's escaping me. I told Michael this for a while. I'm not editing. I don't edit his content. I'm not a big fan of just because I disagree. I mean, could I put up a disclaimer? The opinions of this article are the writers and not TGI Sports Talk, I guess. We've only had one controversial topic. Michael was a tremendous writer. Michael has a way with words and engaging the reader. It's an easy read. It's a fun read. He uses humor. He writes in a way I can't speak as well as he writes, for crying out loud. I can't read as well as he writes. Michael does some great stuff. Check out his articles on TGI Sports Talk. I share it to my personal page, and I also share it to several of the groups out there. So thank you for that, guys. And check out all of Michael's stuff. I wish I had a way. And one thing I'd like to do, and I don't have any expertise in this, and I'm probably going to use ChatGPT, but I would like to build a website. And if anybody knows how to do it and wants to, volunteer their time to build a TGI Sports Talk website, I'm more than open to that. I'd like to have a place to be able to store, put the old interviews I've done, store these shows, store Michael's articles, and have them easily accessible, and as well as for other things, right? So anyway, if you know anybody, have them contact me. Like my ass off for cleaning a litter box, right? I mean, you got to clean the litter box. They get pissed over that because I've had cats, like, if you skip it one morning, because that's the first thing I do every morning, by the way, is the cat gets her breakfast and I clean the litter boxes. That's been what I've done when I had 3, I had 1, whatever. Because I need them clean as much as they do, because I just don't, not that they're very clean. And I'm like, my wife's not a cat person. When we got together, it was a little dicey for a while, but she's come around and she saw the way I take care of the home and keep it. You walk into a lot of people's house and there's cats there, right? You walk into my house, you wouldn't think any animals live here. Qualifying offers for Major League Baseball now up to 22 million. At some point we hit 30. It is what it is, man. If you want to own a baseball team, you better have money. Mechanics and approach. Can't argue with Seaver, no question. But what would be feeding Greg Maddox videos and approach to them? No question. My favorite picture is a picture of a house. One baseball meme is a picture of a house, and it's got paint like all the way around and nothing in the middle. And it was a house that was painted by Greg Maddox. You guys, some of you baseball fans have probably seen it. Absolutely love it. I should do a little recap here pretty soon of yesterday's games in the pool, and also do the picks. Keith nailed it. Gibson in the Hall of Fame if healthy. 100%. Great player. If starvation sets in, a cat or dog will eat your dead carcass. I don't think a dog will. Cats are not scavengers for the most part. They're predatory, so less likely to eat it. I have read articles that say the exact opposite, that the cat will eat you as soon as they get hungry, and a dog will eat you like as a last resort. Either way, I hope not to die and leave my cat to eat my carcass. I think we can all agree on that. Kirk Gibson, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, Michael. No, I can't put him in there. And it's not fair to compare him to Sandy Koufax, who had a very short window and retired early. Well, no, I can't say Kirk Gibson belongs in the Hall of Fame. He would have made the Hall of Fame, stayed healthy, right? Can't get there. I think I said that. Yeah, I do think some have too. That's a great point. Like that guy who commented on your share the other day from TGI Sports Talk. I still can't figure out what that guy's argument was, Danny, and who it was with. So Ohtani has decimated what we know and remember. Nobody has ever hit the way he does. Well, I would say Babe Ruth has. Oh, you did too as well, but not at once. Actually, no, you're right. The Babe did play. When he came to the Yankees, he didn't pitch at all. But when he was with the Red Sox, the Babe still did some. I think he still played some positions here and there. Let me just. I'm going to take a quick look. Baseball Reference. I swear, with the Red Sox, he would play. I want to see where he played. Boy, here we go. No, that's as a pitcher. Here we go. 14, 15, 16, 17, he only pitched. In 18, he played 59 games in the outfield. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I see they broke it down here. 47. No, he played more than that. I guess that's his total. 59 games in the outfield. 2019, he played 111 games in the outfield. So he was doing it at the same time. So if I look at his stats from, let's say, 17, let's look at his offensive stats. This is fun for me. It's probably boring as hell for you guys. So in 17, he had 2 home runs. He had 11. He had 29 homers and had 113 RBIs in his last season with Boston in the dead ball era. So he did do it at once, but not like Ohtani over, years. And his first year with the Yankees, he had 54, but he didn't pitch. I want to say. Am I wrong about that? I don't think I'm wrong about that. Well, I'm sorry. He did pitch with the Yankees. Not much. My bad. Yeah, he pitched in 2 games in 1 game in 20, 1 game in 21. So he didn't, for all intents and purposes, did not pitch. Red sweep the A's. Did sweep the A's. Right. Over under on the NFL Sunday morning to night games except holidays in less or more than a decade. Over under on NFL Sunday morning to night games. How can they do that? When the over under on when the NFL Sundays have morning to night games except for I see. Every Sunday you're talking about. 10 years. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I mean, Goodell has talked about playing 17 games a year and everybody playing a game over there. I don't know if that logistically works out, but playing 17 games. I'm going to say under. Under. He's talked about playing a game over there every week. So you're close. We're Marshall. Thank you, Brian. Great movie. Really great movie. Trevor Lawrence is hot garbage. He's got him on the move. Nice hands on that guy. Game plan and the program. The program's a good football movie. I love some James Caan. The game plan was good. Jerry Maguire was good. Those are good ones, Danny. I like the program a lot. Very underrated movie. James Caan, I would watch James Caan just sit and read the phone book. That's another reason I hate the Super Bowl, because of all the people watching who don't watch football. I don't go out to. I don't go to Super Bowl parties. There was a time I go to my cabin and watch the game on the ship. I don't go to Lido. I don't go to the theater. I go to the cabin. Unless I don't really care about the game, which does happen from time to time. Rarely, because I usually got bet on it. But Super Bowl parties, I stopped going to like 25 years ago because of exactly that. I want to watch the game. And quite frankly, I mean, there's been times where I get myself in a lot of trouble here. My wife has said, and it may not be for the Super Bowl, but any big game, anytime my team's playing, I don't necessarily want some people coming to my house because they don't really care about the game. And I do. And it's for any game for me. So I agree with that. Just people who aren't football people, they're faux fans. They come wearing a jersey and they know nothing about football. Who's on upset alert today? The Rams. That's who's on upset alert. I got to get I got to get out of here. Well, I don't have to get out of here for a bit, but am I going to put you on upset alert today? I had the Rams on upset alert, so that tells you what I know. Where's my schedule? Where's my scores? There we go. No. Taking the Chiefs in the survivor pool today. There's 186. This is the 120. I think it's $125,000 pool. There's 186 of us left out of 700. I'm taking the Chiefs today. I'd put the Eagles on upset alert today because things don't feel right around the Eagles. Barkley gets 11 and 14 touches in 2 weeks. Something's wrong. Panthers, upset alert. Jets got to win somewhere. Sorry, Sonia. I'm not falling for the Giants and putting them on this list. Colts would be an upset, so I can't call that one. I think that's 49ers, maybe. I haven't bought into Michael Penix yet. I probably will at some point. I guess you could put Detroit on. I like Detroit, as I talked about on the Big Football Show. Brian brought up some reasons maybe they might get a beat, as their whole secondary is pretty much out. And I like the Seahawks. So, again, there's a couple teams there. Let me give you my picks while we're talking about it, and then I'm going to fly through these comments. Let's get through real quick in college football yesterday. Congrats to Alan Perales, 10 out of 10 yesterday. Tremendous job, Alan. We had a couple people with 9. Where the hell's me? I know Rick Sherlock, who we haven't seen this morning. Hopefully Rick's doing okay. Where's my? There we are. And we'll go over this again in more detail on Wednesday. Rick and Scott Kobe rebounds with 9 wins. Great job. Beamer Ball, Pesky, that's Neil, Danny, the generic fan, and myself had 8. Everybody had a pretty good week, relatively speaking, except Brian, sorry, with 4. Michael had 7, so congratulations to him, and J Train with 6. Let me give you my we'll recap the rest of that in the leaders on Wednesday night during the college football show. Because we're running out of time here. We got about 13 to 15 minutes left. Here's my picks for today. I did take Pittsburgh on Thursday. Off to a good start. I did take Jacksonville here. Score here would be nice. I got the Bears over the Saints. James, I know, really thinks the Saints are going to have a big game today due to some revenge factors with Rattler and Williams, Dennis Allen on the Bears sideline. Not buying it. Better team wins at home. Browns and Dolphins. This is certainly the broken windshield. This might be the broken rear window as well. Special. Pete Exum's old broken windshield special. I'm going to take the Browns at home. Patriots over the Titans. This is a revenge game of sorts for Vrabel, and the players I think are bought into it, which I don't think is always the case in these games, but I do think it is here, and I think Drake may throw for 5 touchdowns today. Now, I'm going to say the Patriots score 6 touchdowns today. Kansas City over the Raiders. I like Raiders. Big disappointment. I thought they were going to be much better. Pete Carroll, got to be wondering what he did. I'm going to take the Vikings over the Eagles. I'm switching my pick here. I am taking the Vikings over the Eagles. A little Carson Wentz. If this game were in Philadelphia, it'd probably be a bigger game for him. But I want Carson. I want to think Carson Wentz can do the job here. Something going on with the Eagles. I don't know what it is. They want to get right. Today's a good day to do it because I just picked against them. I'll take the Jets to beat Carolina. I'm going to take the Broncos over the Giants, the Chargers over the Colts in a really big game. This is a very interesting game, and it's a conference game, so it's important. I think we might find out about which one of these teams is better today. I like the Chargers at home. Cowboys against the Commanders, who are lacking almost all their wide receivers. I think they have 3 healthy wide receivers. I'll take them over the Cowboys, though. And the Packers over the Cardinals. 49ers and Mac Jones over the Falcons, as I just haven't bought into Michael Penix, although 49ers should be on alert. Lions over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lions should be on alert as well. And I like Seattle with that pass rush and Sam Darnold playing mostly a good game. 2 games Monday night again this week. The leaders, by the way, in this pool, Anthony leading now with 61, tied with Kenny Gifford at 61. Great job by you guys. Rick and a generic ESPN fan again, 59. I wish this person would identify themselves. The Sun God at 58, Fantasy World Peace, which is Michael at 57. I myself at 57. This is still wide open. Nobody is really pulling away. And Drew is at the bottom with 47 at the moment. But again, even that could be overcome, quite frankly. Let's get back to your comments. AC is loved, no doubt. He Alpha's thick skin. He is. Just a Royal Pain favorite. Just to be a Royal Pain. Linda, hello, Linda. I didn't see your name pop up there. Good to have you with us as well. Just to be a Royal Pain. Favorite Super Bowls 2000. I have to end the show now because I'm going to cry my eyes out because I blocked these 2 Sundays out of my memory banks, and then every once in a while, usually it was Mac. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad to see you're carrying Mac's memory on, and his attitude and his button pushing. Thank you for that, Linda. Michael needs to write about the genesis of tapioca night at the home. Also, your 10-day leave from the home has been approved for your cruise. Congratulations. The problem is I need like 17 days. So I'm going to be AWOL for 7, apparently. Best football movie ever, The Longest Yard. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Not the remake. Okay. I don't know why we remake classic movies. I just don't know. Michael is without a doubt or hesitation a wonderful writer and manic character. 100% agree. Thank you so much, Keith. You're beyond too kind. Something rarely gets said about me, beyond too kind. I just hope people get to enjoy the awesome content you produce. Thank you. Any animal will eat you once it gets hungry enough. Okay. We can. I'm going to eat the animal if I get hungry enough too. No, I'm not. Oh my God. I'll give you the fact. Mac disliked cats as much as golf. Mac did hate golf. I didn't know he hated cats, but yet he fed the strays outside. So that says something about the fact he disliked them quite as much as you think. And now I'm starting to think he might have been sneaking around the backyard with a, pitching wedge. Babe never had the singular game Ohtani did. No, he did not. I was talking about an entire season. Sorry. By the way, I will say this though. Before you discount the Babe, for decades, Babe held the longest scoreless streak in World Series games. Saying, Ohtani hasn't done that. I'm not taking anything away from Ohtani. I have said for 2 days now, that game is the best individual game I've seen in a World Series. I'm not backing away from that. Ohtani set the bar for single game that will never be broken unless he does it. James Caan, best movie, Rollerball. Great movie. Don't forget it's with a C and not a K, though. Bolts 34, Indy 20, Matt says. I think it'll be closer than that. I like the Colts a lot. Just don't like them on the road here. Overall, I think they're a better team than the Chargers. Not by a lot, Matt, but I think the Chargers win today. Guarantee many had the Steelers in Survivor and lost. We only had 6, actually, out of 202. 6 of them had the Steelers. But again, remember, you can only take them once, so it's possible that, they took them, a lot of them took Steelers somewhere else. Maybe the Colts today, and that's a gutsy call today. That's a gutsy call. One reason I like, and I got to go in 5. I got to get through these comments. 5 or 5-ish. One of the reasons I like this type of pick, and I'm not willing to do it this week. Some weeks I just want to survive. Other weeks, there's a game I really like, and if this is a game you really like, then God bless you. And then you get to root for everybody because not a lot of people are going to be on the Colts or the Chargers probably today. They're going to be on the Chiefs. They're going to be on the Bears. They're going to be on the Packers if they have them left. Thank you for an amazing show. Thank you. It's awesome that you give us not only your amazing insight. Well, I don't know about amazing. It is insight. I will say that. But the way you also allow us to interact is beyond special. You guys are important to me. I love doing the show the way that I do it. And I would not do it any different. It took me a couple of years to find the fit that I wanted here. And once we got it, it's great. Yeah, I know. Even in Minnesota. Watch out, Minnesota fans. You got Giant fans invading your territory now. Way to go, Alan, for sure. Sorry Alan's not with us to hear the congratulations. We'll congratulate him. He usually pops in for the college football huddle, so we'll see. I'm out of elimination due to Cardinals blowing a lead against the Titans. Good luck. Jags missed the field goal. Rams driving again. Excellent. I got to see how many people have the Rams maybe here. CA. Redskins beat up Cowgirls. You think Cowboys won? Yeah. Too kind. You are good, Michael. That's all you need to remember. Touchdown, 21-0. Okay, we'll write this game off. Don't need to be paying attention to this anymore. I'll just turn this TV off as I get ready to close up shop. I will for you, Scott Kobe. Love the original Longest Yard. Great movie. Devontae Williams, 2 touchdowns. Or Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns. Never just. Oh, I know that. It's an interesting comparison, though. Nothing against Ohtani. It was the NLCS, not a World Series. Just saying. I get it. I have said postseason. So, and Danny did say this yesterday during our conversation. It's still remarkable. And Holidays was during an NLCS as well, or maybe even a division series where Eagles Dare. That is not a sports movie, is it? It's a great movie, though. And you take care, too, Matt. Wonderful show today. Keep in mind, tomorrow morning, I'll be on with Jack with Jack and Keith's weekend update, or weekend playbook, sorry. Weekend update is on Saturday Night Live. We'll talk about some of the stuff we didn't talk about today. I had a lot of stuff, man. We had a good show. I love just the way we circle around here. Have a lot of fun. And you guys enjoy your Sunday. I am going to be off to watch some football and might be home early today. We'll see. Hopefully the Patriots are up by a bunch. I can go. But check us out tomorrow morning. And then we'll be back on the college football huddle on Wednesday night. You guys are the best. This is the best audience, the best followers in all of podcasting. Just looking to see if there's anybody. Robert Butler was here. Hello, buddy. Good to have you with us. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later. Thank you, Danny, so much. Bye-bye.